What's up guys, Tommy Bowyer here from Movie Rewind, and today we're going to be talking about one of the most disliked Doctor Who YouTube channels in the modern day, Bowlestrek. So without further ado, let's get into it. Bowlestrek is a very controversial YouTuber who has been around since 2007, so he's definitely one of the more longer running YouTube channels out there. He started off as pretty much a DVD and Blu-ray collector. The idea was to do videos where he showed off his very large DVD and Blu-ray collection, highlighting certain films which he liked and what he was adding to his collection. So he had humble beginnings in many ways. Now, I first came into contact with Bowlestrek in about 2015 because he started to do videos on Doctor Who around that time, in the mid-Peter Capaldi era. Now, around that time, Doctor Who's ratings were on the decline, and fan reactions to the Capaldi era were proving to be quite mixed compared to the eras of David Tennant and Matt Smith. And Bowlestrek was someone who was very critical of Peter Capaldi's era as Doctor Who. While he always highlighted how much he enjoyed Peter Capaldi's 12th Doctor, he highlighted how a lot of the episodes were not as good as they used to be. And to be honest, some of his videos back then I used to enjoy. I thought he had valid criticisms and I enjoyed hearing his opinions. Now, Bowlestrek became more popular during the early Jodie Whittaker era, especially Series 11, and he became what I would describe as a YouTube grifter. Someone who was very happy to just highlight identity politics and literally just blame all of Doctor Who and modern entertainment more generally problems on the idea of identity politics. And that's when I started to disagree with Bowlestrek on many things, because I think that there are ways to have a decent debate without having to result to the kind of angry grifter ideology which Bowlestrek seems to encapsulate. So in this video, I just wanted to give my personal view on why I think that people like Bowlestrek really do not deserve to be taken seriously whatsoever. Now, during the Jodie Whittaker era, Bowlestrek was very critical of head writer Chris Chibnall, and I myself was not a fan of Chris Chibnall. I think he was one of the worst showrunners in the show's history, but that was mostly because of the quality of the writing. I thought that Chibnall just weren't a very good writer. He weren't great at building long series arcs which would be paid off if the audience kept watching from the beginning of the series until the end of the series, and a number of his episodes just involved the same stereotypical countdown idea, as well as way too many side characters which just weren't developed enough. And I think that his characterization of the 13th Doctor and his writing of her was just all over the place. And Jodie Whittaker, even though I thought she was a great actor and someone who really has what it takes to portray the Doctor, she just didn't stand a chance with Chris Chibnall as showrunner. But Bowlestrek was someone that always tried to simplify the problems with Doctor Who. He would always go for identity politics. And this is what I can't understand about these grifter YouTubers, especially ones like Bowlestrek, is that even when there is an episode of Doctor Who which doesn't have anything political in it at all, he somehow found a way to make it political. And I just don't understand that mindset whatsoever. I think it's actually a very bad mindset to have. Now, you can criticise Doctor Who episodes for being too overtly political. You know, I've done it before. You know, Arachnids in the UK is a classic example of how they just made the Trump parody so obvious that it was just boring and uninteresting. But at the same time, some of the best Doctor Who stories of all times are political. You know, Planet of the Ood is an amazing commentary on slavery and how people just turn a blind eye as long as they're getting what they want. So politics can influence Doctor Who in a positive way, but people like Bowlestrek have really managed to hone in on this anti-SJW grifter line, and I just don't agree with it whatsoever. I mean, I remember watching some of his Series 13 reviews, so Jodie Whittaker's final series as the Doctor, and obviously that was a series heavily impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic, which meant that, you know, it was a lot harder to film and a lot of social restrictions had to be put in place. And I remember watching his first review for the first episode, the Halloween Apocalypse, and he said that the effects in the episode were very bad because the BBC had to hire people from a diverse background who weren't as talented, and that's why the effects look bad. And I remember thinking, what the hell is he going on about? Does he have any evidence to back this up? And that's something about Bowlestrek. He hardly has any evidence to actually back up these points. And I think that's when I started to lose respect for him, because he's someone who just shouts, you know, oh look, there's too many ethnic minorities, there's too many women, it's clearly woke, it's clearly trash, you know, they've got a hidden agenda, the BBC's diversity and inclusion strategy. These are the kind of things Bowlestrek goes on about again and again, and I think it's got to the point where if you watch one Bowlestrek video, you've basically seen them all. Now, in terms of what Bowlestrek is up to today, he's still going on the grifter stuff, you know, he's still doing Doctor Who reviews, although they're not getting nearly as many views as they used to get. But I'm just going to go over the thumbnails for each episode of Series 14. And it is literally the same thing on each thumbnail. So for episode 1, Space Babies, we've got Beyond Trash. Episode 2, Next Level Trash. Episode 3, Boom Boom Trash. Episode 4, Mystery Trash. Episode 5, Zuma Trash. Episode 6, Historic Trash. Episode 7, Penultimate Trash. Episode 8, Ultimate Trash. And then we've got the Christmas special, which is just trash. Now, obviously, Bowlestrek doesn't own a thesaurus, because he could find other words apart from trash. But I think that just sums it up, really. He doesn't actually have any valid criticisms with evidence. And I think the thing I dislike about Bowlestrek the most is his attitude seems to rub off on his subscribers and the people who watch his videos. Because I think that you should be able to have civilized debate, you know. And I've had that with Doctor Who fans. I work with several people who are Doctor Who fans, and we disagree a lot. You know, I talk to an older man where I work, and he really doesn't like Series 14, and I was quite a fan of it. So we discussed it, and we discussed what was good about it, what was bad about it, and it's nice. It's good to have that debate with others. What I don't like about Bowlestrek viewers is they get very nasty. They simply just write off anything you say as, oh, you're woke, or oh, look, you're a BBC shill, or oh, look, you're just a snowflake. And I never understand that is valid criticism. It doesn't say anything about my opinions. You're just shutting me down for reasons which you have no evidence for. I mean, I've done videos in the past where I have highlighted my issues with Doctor Who YouTubers who go with this grifter line, and I've had comments from people which really don't make any sense whatsoever. I've had people call me a shill, which I don't really understand why. It's not like I'm being paid by the BBC or looking for a job with the BBC. I mean, I only have 500 subscribers, so I don't think I'm going to get noticed by the BBC anytime soon. And I was also called bald. And I'm not bald. I have a receding hairline. You know, my hair does not have long to live. But at the same time, it was a weird criticism to have. And I think that's what I don't like about people who seem to enjoy Bowlestrek. It's the fact that they don't seem to have an actual grown-up debate with you. It just goes to petty name-calling, and I don't agree with it. And before I have maybe some Bowlestrek viewers watching this video saying to me, oh, look, you call out the right-wing viewers, but you're not calling out, like, the left-wing viewers. Obviously, I disagree with people who just say that, oh, you're obviously racist if you don't like Ncuti Gatwa as the 15th Doctor. Obviously, I call that out as well, because that is, once again, a stupid criticism. I don't agree with that kind of philosophy on either side. You know, I can't understand why we can't just go back to, you know, when I was growing up with the 10th Doctor and 11th Doctor, it seemed to be a lot more civilised. There were disagreements in the fandom, but obviously we could all respect each other's opinions and kind of work to try and live with one another. Obviously now it seems to be the line, because of people like Bowlestrek, my opinion is the right opinion and anyone else's is just stupid. And I just don't agree with that. I think it's nasty and it just leads to a lot of toxicity in the Doctor Who fandom. Now, the last thing I want to say about Bowlestrek is the fact how obviously he's had to change his opinions, even though, you know, he would probably say that he never changes his opinions on things. He's had to change his opinions because when Russell T Davies came back as showrunner of Doctor Who, he obviously had to turn against Davies's original era of Doctor Who. Now, when I first started watching Bowlestrek, it was very clear they used to hold up the Russell T Davies era in very high esteem. Christopher Eccleston as the 9th Doctor, David Tennant as the 10th Doctor, he clearly held that up in high esteem, saying that's how you do Doctor Who properly. But now that Russell T Davies is back, Bowlestrek now has a problem with the revival as a whole, saying that it's all been woke, it's all PC, and Russell T Davies has basically destroyed Doctor Who as a programme. Now, obviously, I don't agree with that. I'm someone who grew up with Russell T Davies' original era, and that is also one thing I don't get about people who say, oh, Doctor Who's woke now, it's gone PC, it's too liberal. I mean, were you around in Series 1? I mean, the second episode of Doctor Who I ever watched, The Parting of the Ways, had Jack Harkness kissing the 9th Doctor. So it's fair to say Doctor Who has always had liberal elements. You know, that's nothing new. I think that if Series 1 was released this year, people like Bowlestrek would be criticising it for being too liberal and woke. So I think that just shows the, you know, people like Bowlestrek, obviously they're grifter YouTubers. You know, the only way they're going to get views if they say the most outrageous things to really fire up their fan base. And obviously that's something which on YouTube as a whole is very sad to see. You know, that anger and outrage tends to rule the day. I mean, I have issues with people like The Critical Drinker and Nerdrotic as well when it comes to films, because obviously as someone who I would say, you know, I go to the cinema at least once a week. I'm a massive fan of going to the cinema. When I hear all of these YouTubers say that modern entertainment, you know, it's dying, it's too woke, they never release any good films anymore. But then I've been to see films from a variety of genres, and it shows that they're, you know, the entertainment industry, you know, it's still thriving. You know, they're still making loads of different kinds of films. There's no point just saying that, you know, the entertainment industry has just gone too woke, because that's not the case whatsoever. So, yeah, I mean, that's my issue with Bowlestrek. You know, not only his opinions, but obviously he's changed his opinions as time has gone on to become, I would say, even more stupid, really. I don't think in any of his recent videos, which I've watched in preparation for this video, he gives any proper criticisms. He just kind of blames Zoomers and says that the episodes are boring, and even if they're not boring, then they're woke. And it's just, I don't understand him whatsoever. I don't really understand. If he hates Doctor Who so much, then why does he continue watching it? Because obviously, you know, every single Doctor Who episode is on iPlayer now. He obviously has DVDs and Blu-rays of previous Doctor Who series. So why doesn't he just watch something which he enjoys rather than watch something he obviously hates? I mean, if I don't like a programme, which, you know, has happened in the past, I just stop watching it because I don't enjoy it anymore. The idea of hate watching just so you can make videos to please others who are also hate watching, I just don't think that's healthy at all. So thanks for watching, guys. I really do hope that you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe in order to receive great and maybe even improved quality content in the future. Now, obviously, this was an opinion piece. It's just my opinion, you know, it's no one else's. I'm not saying that I am right, but I'm just giving my opinion. You know, that's what I do. But obviously I know there might be one or two comments which are gonna disagree with me, and that's fair enough. You know, as long as we keep it civilized, then I don't mind disagreements. You know, I'm a big boy. I'm a bigger than quite a few people, obviously. Need to lose some weight. So yeah, if you disagree with me, then that's fine. Feel free to comment down below and tell me your side of the story, and obviously I'm gonna listen to it. But I will not, and I will never be unapologetic about the fact that I think that YouTubers like Bowlestrek really are the worst of the Doctor Who community. I think they are people that thrive off spreading hatred, of spreading bigotry, of just spreading the idea that you don't have to respect other people's opinions. And I just don't think that that is a good thing to do. You know, in my opinion, he should not be watching Doctor Who if he hates it that much. The only reason, and he did, you know, he did leave YouTube a few years ago. He did leave YouTube. The only reason I can assume that he is back is because he wants to stay relevant, and he realises that no one watches positive content, or especially his subscribers wouldn't watch positive content. I can't really remember the last time he did a video on something he enjoys, because obviously that's not going to get your views, that's not going to get your relevance. So obviously he does content which he doesn't enjoy in order to create outrage. So yeah, I just think people like Bowlestrek are the bottom of the barrel of the Doctor Who fandom, and that's my personal opinion. So anyway, I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you in another one. See ya!